welcome to this episode of Mommy SeaStar. Today is our 4th violin lesson, and we're going to have part 2 of our tuning session. We're going to tune both of these violins. This is my full-size violin, and then this is my half. And both of them are set up a little differently. Now, tuning is more advanced, and so normally we wouldn't show how to tune this early on. However, because of the pandemic situation and everybody is at home, especially here in California, you're going to need to be able to tune your instrument all by yourself or with the help of your parent or caregiver. So I'm going to show you in detail how to tune your violin safely and accurately. Before we get started, let's review what we do with the bow. Remember, we turn the nut clockwise and tighten the hairs, put on our rosin. And I go up and down, up and down. Now, if your bow is new, you'll have to put on a lot more rosin. I've heard people say, well, I tried playing and my violin isn't making any sound. And that's because the hairs were new and there wasn't enough rosin. So if your violin isn't making enough sound, make sure that you put a lot of rosin on your bow for the first time. After that first time, when you rosin up your bow, you only need to go up and down like that. And I'll do the same thing here without talking so you can just observe. And now here's a little special note. If you have a hair that's falling off, sometimes they break too. That's very normal. See, I have these long things here. You don't want to pull them out because that can make all the hairs fall out at once. So just use a nail clipper and carefully clip the hairs one at a time. And you get down. And that's how you clean up your bow and keep the loose hairs off. All right. So I'm gonna start with my large instrument because if your violin is out of tune quite a bit, I'm gonna detune my violin here so you can see. You want to check the bridge, make sure that it's straight up and down before you start. If you need to adjust the bridge, you have to put your 2 fingers here on this side. I'll get a little closer. You have to adjust the bridge. Hold the violin here, and then very carefully with your thumbs on this side of the bridge, very, very carefully, make sure the strings are just tight enough to hold it in place. And then you want to make sure that it's straight up and down like this. See, that is out of tune. So to tune your violin, if you have a keyboard, you can do this. We start with the A. And I pluck the A with my thumb. And I use this peg here. You can see for the A, it's this one right here. A is the 2nd string from the right, and you use this top right peg for the A. And that's my A. Now notice that I started from lower than the pitch and then I slowly went up. That's really important because you don't want to get above the pitch because that's when you can snap a string. So if you're not sure, just turn the pegs towards you, loosen the strings, and then slowly bring it up. Bring the peg towards you. And that will raise the pitch a little at a time until you hit the note that you're looking for. So let me show you again. This is D. D. watch how I do this. I'm plucking, plucking, and turning. And that's my D. Now the A has adjusted a little bit, so I'm gonna lower it and bring it back up again. See, whenever I adjust, I bring it down first and then back up. My D is still adjusting. It's saying, what happened? And here's our G. Now here's our E. It's out of tune, so. And then you can tuning takes a lot of practice, so you must be patient. There you go. That's how your violin should sound when you're all done. So for now, it's good if you have a keyboard to use the keyboard to tune. So let me show you how to tune if you have the fine tuners on your instrument. So I was using these pegs, and these, you'll have to use these if your violin is new or it hasn't been played for a while and it's really out of tune. You'll have to use these. Be sure to loosen first and then push in as you turn the peg away from you. Let me show you one more time. So it's lower and then pushing, pushing, pushing in, bringing the peg away from you. And then you see how I'm close to the pitch? Now I have my fine tuners, so I'm able to get the exact pitch that I want. Clockwise is higher in pitch, and counterclockwise is lower. Here's the D. Okay, and then there's one last step you can do. To make it even more exact, you can use your bow. This violin is much too small for me, but I'm going to show you how to tune with the fine tuners. So that's a lot more advanced, but that's where we're headed with this tuning technique. Okay. Now I'm going to play each note nice and long so you can check your violin and see how close it is. Right now I'm going to start from the A. I'm going to go, because we always start with the A when we tune. So I'm going to do A, D, G, and then E. Okay, here's your A. And your D. So you can use those notes to check the tuning on your instrument, or you can also use your keyboard, the notes that I showed you on the previous video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Just leave me a note in the comments and I'll be happy to answer you. Thank you.